Alright, here goes. I watch from behind as Mitru boldly leaps into the classroom, like a paratrooper jumping into the sky over Normandy. Naturally, she's not as heavily equipped, but in her grim resolve, she's a match for any screaming eagle. Without such intestinal fortitude, there's no way the girl could charge so defenselessly into the classroom. Well, unless she's simply unaware of the situation. That would make sense. Oh my gosh, you're so loud, Mitru. Seems like the latter. You are truly a foolish woman, Mitru. And here I was, filled with admiration for your kamikaze spirit, to think you were just wallowing in ignorance. I feel like telling a Japanese girl that you're filled with admiration for her kamikaze spirit is pretty bad. Because you didn't ask. That's right, the situation. A bee, a flying pest, has occupied our classroom, and now lies in ambush. Our classmates have all withdrawn from the field. This is exactly why you're renowned as the most brainless of bimbos. Oh, that's mean. Every action should be taken only after consideration of the worst case scenario. Don't you have any common sense at all? What kind of idiot opens a door without assessing the risks? Whenever you open a door, do so in steadfast resolve to find Somalia waiting on the other side. You're not worthy of my instruction. If you're that determined, I suppose I can make an exception. Step 1, confirm the surrounding area. Standing in front of the door, I demonstrate by pointing sequentially to the ceiling, the floor, my front, and my rear, my left and my right, following with my eyes. FBI, open up! That's what I feel like we're about to do. Serve with the utmost caution, you understand? Search every inch of your surroundings on the assumption that they hide deadly traps. Quiet, we've just begun our 6-hour stakeout period, of course. Oh my gosh. What? By all rights, we should obtain a map, infiltrate, and watch from cover for a week in advance, granting extraordinary permission for a raid after nothing more than an observation period, and you're still not satisfied. Just how far do you expect me to indulge your laziness? You spoiled blonde, and you call yourself Japanese. Very well, I shall teach you the simplest possible method using nice small words. First, we slowly open the door. Then we throw in the decoy. Did he just throw her? Next, we close the door and then stand by until the decoys report. Listen up, maggot. You have a scouting mission to complete. Desertion in the face of the enemy is treason. If you turn your back on your foe and come crawling to safety, I'll re-educate you with my own hands. Calm down and maintain your composure. Don't let panic blind you. Use those holes in your head you call eyes. I've seen grannies with shriveled ovaries put their holes to better use on behalf of the nation. Ew! What is this conversation? You're truly hopeless. Very well. I'll go so far as to sing a song to give you courage. La la, gleaming like the morning sun. Walther Piocht undress. Dressing? I see, she's decided to silence her breathing and hide. Compared to noisily trying to escape a much wiser course of action, she gains such instinctive understanding of the art of reconnaissance in this short time. Meet you, my friend. I might make a scout out of you yet. Shinzo Sasageo. Mitru is collapsed on the floor, her eyes rolling in her head. What's all this then? Hey, Mega, who authorized you to faint? The bee. Calm yourself. That thing is nothing more than an insect. Yeah, haven't you seen the bee movie? Oh, I finally understand the thumbnail. As I said that, I finally understood Bee's thumbnail for this. Oh, that's so good. Okay, I know why there was a Bee movie reference now. Because I made a Bee movie reference without thinking about it. Not if I sting it first. This kind of bee can't sting. There's bees that can't sting? How come every bee I've encountered has stung me? Well, bee stinger is part of its ovipositor, therefore males don't have one. The closest this thing is harmless. So wait, it's the females that sting. They jumped to conclusions and mistook this for a dangerous variety. Ran off to get insecticide or something. Oh yeah, totally. That's why you fainted. Oh, this one's gonna be a female, isn't it? That's a giant hornet. It stings. Also, it's poisonous. It'll sting you. If you shout, keep quiet. Listen carefully, Michiru. Giant hornets don't just sting, they inject potent venom. Slight digression, but this thing is called the Yak Killer because of its poison cocktail. Don't make any sudden movements. Walk slowly and keep quiet. Fortunately, you're blonde, so the coloration is similar to that of a hornet. In other words, there's no problem if he accepts you as his friend. What is she doing? Offering at the Bohemian folk song. Very sensible. When the collector mandibles together like that, it signifies a final warning. If you make any more stupid moves, you'll be stung for sure. Sachi drags the tank with her atomizing nozzle. Okay, there we go. I had to think about how to say that word. Hose into the room. It looks like it's designed for spraying agricultural chemicals. Apparently it's full of her own cocktail. I love her surprise face, by the way. It's so good. Is she gonna spray her with it? It's okay. You've been taking your was it vitamin C juice that she is always sipping on? You'll be fine. Your body will fight it off. Neurotoxin. Sounds like it'll take on that hornet for sure. Wait, what? Say no. I feel like people who like this, like, I've never actually seen an episode of Monogatari, but I feel like people who like Monogatari would like Fruit of Grisaia. Am I right in assuming the humor would be kind of similar? Well, you know, Michiru, you could always leave. You could always walk out of the line of sight. Gotta come up with a plan B or this won't end well. The hornet is pretty worked up. Because you're an alien. It's accepted you as their leader. What'd you do to that poor hornet?
色が似てるから？それともツンデレが女王蜂とキャラかぶってるとか？
Doesn't like tsunderes.
みちる様、やはり一吹きだけでもいかがでしょうか。一吹きでも効果はありますので。
Are you trying to get her to... What?
効果があったらダメなんだってば。
I was like, where did Sasha get a vape from? Why is she telling her to take a puff?
そうですか。
今度は低空飛行で飛んでる。
Seems to be aiming at your legs. Michu, do you think you'll be needing those in the future?
当たり前でしょ。
I see.
騒がしいわね。
What is it not?
ユミコ、こっち来ちゃダメ。
え、何？ちょっとわからないんだけど。
I have a feeling Yumiko's just gonna smack this bee. Like they did in Code Geass.
いや、そうじゃなくて足元に。
待って、朝からあんまり大声出さないで。
Stepped on it.
何？ちゃんと話してくれる？
Did she just unintentionally step on it?
なんでもないです。
そう、それならいいんだけど。
Well, that was anticlimactic. Squashed toward it, stuck flat to the bottom of her shoe, Saki walks over to her desk and takes out a book. Although the girl glances over here briefly, she soon pulls out her bookmark without another word and begins moving her eyes across the lines of text. Sachi, there's gotta be a nest somewhere nearby. I think you could find it and give it a dose of that cocktail of yours.
はい、かしこまりました。
つまり、ユミコ最強説ってことね。
Not the type you want to make an enemy of. With this, the Hornet incident draws to a close without casualties. Just as they say at times, ignorance is bliss. Wow, okay, that was a great opening scene. After middle school, you won't be popular with the girls if all you do is fight. You need brains, too. So my master taught me. So are you smart, then? In response to the obvious question, my master replied that women are more popular if they're a little dim-witted. I think she might have intended it as a joke, not that it was remotely funny. The master wasn't much of a comedian, but there's one thing I have to thank her for. Specifically, she's the one who got me really hooked on reading. There are a vast number of books in this world, and the majority are interesting in some way. Even if you get stuck with a seriously dull one, if you look at it critically and figure out why it's a failure, the time you spent with it isn't a complete waste. I devoured books like an addict when I was a kid. Gosh, same here, but now I'm like... I don't read nearly as much as I do. Or I used to. My master would get me anything I wanted to read, even comic or porn magazines. I don't think you read those, but okay. It's a damn good thing if you can enjoy reading. Why? Lets you make use of the time you spend waiting in the dentist's office, doesn't it? I'm supposed to laugh now. Not to say that I've gained much wisdom from what I read in waiting rooms, but I think I'd at least smile at those words today. I mean, I would say reading is like a skill everybody should have, of course. Makina, you here? We get more Makina time. Makina, why aren't you in your own room?
ちゃんとドアに張り紙してあったでしょ。お隣のお部屋にいますって。
Gosh, just looking at that sunset in the background, knowing they're right by the water, I'm like, oh, that would be so nice. Yes, there's a note under a door. Thing is, the paper was yellowed and wrinkled. There's no telling how long it had been up there. Are you always in Amane's room?
そうだね。言われてみればずっといるような気もするのよさ。
Yes, the room I just entered is in fact Amane's. And she has a lobster in a... What? Why does she have a pet lobster? Looking around, a good half of the room is buried in random junk. I guess Makina have been doing her best imitation of a squirrel preparing for hibernation. Depositing things here little by little with every visit.
まあ、立ち話もなんだし、入れよ。
I appreciate the neighborly spirit, but this isn't your room.
マキナ、誰か来たの？はーい、お兄ちゃんが来たのよ。ああ、ユージくん？何？どうしたの？
Oh my gosh. Why? Nothing much, just stop by to lend Makina a book.
何の？
Are we not gonna talk about that? We're just gonna keep going with the conversation. It's for that thing. Point towards one item among Makina's pile of junk, an aquarium containing her crawfish. Oh, it's a crawfish. It looked like a lobster, but yeah, now that I'm seeing it up close. She asked me if I knew any books with detailed instructions on raising crawfish. I took a look around a store by the station.
ああ、あんたが原因か、あのザリガニ。この子いきなり部屋に持ってきたかと思えば、青くするって言い出してさ。
She's gonna turn it blue. Oh yeah, it's the one crawfish. Oh, okay. Now I know which one this is.
最初は洗面器に入れてたんだけど、夜中に逃げ出すもんだから水槽セット買う羽目になったのよ。
Sorry about that.
別に責めてるわけじゃないわよ。この子が生き物に興味を持つのは悪くないことだし。ね、本は本。
Yeah, this is it. The part about raising crawfish starts on page 38. The last 2 pages talk about getting them to turn blue.
ありがとう。早速読むのよさ。
I believe it had to do with its diet, right? Like we had to feed it... I don't know, was it more like human food? As Makina accepts the book from me, she sits down on the spot with a thumb and starts to rifle through the pages. Is nobody gonna talk about how her boobs are sticking out?
つーかさ、本当に青くなるの？
When I tried this experiment as a kid, there was a range of variation among the individuals, but most of them did turn some shade of blue.
なんか面白そうね。
I can't tell if he's just not putting it out on purpose, or if he's just so used to it now. By the way, man, I have a question, man. Do you mind? Okay, good. He's asking. Why exactly are you constantly naked?
ああ、別にいつもじゃないっていうか、今私シャワー浴びてるところだったのよ。
And you couldn't put on some clothes first.
つーか、突っ込むの遅くね？
I'll try to work on that. But I mean, I think you do the kya thing and hide your chest before you get a chance to bring it up, usually. When I no more concerned with my glance than before, walks briskly to her vanity and flips on her hairdryer.
私って汗っかきでさ、夏場は1日3回ぐらいはシャワー浴びるのよね。油断してるとおっぱいの下に汗もができたりで大変なのよ。
Oh yeah, I know all about that. Big tits are tough in their own way, I see.
ね、お兄ちゃん、なんか飲もう？
Yeah, if you're offering.
じゃあ、ちょっと待っててね。今用意するのよさ。
Makina places her book on the floor, opens Amani's refrigerator, then promptly sticks her head in and starts rooting around like she owns the place. Basically as much as her room as Amane's by this point. We're seeing a theme here about not respecting people's privacy.
あ、なに？なんか言った？
Just how long has Makina been hanging around in this room?
そうね。マキナがこの学園に来てからずっとかな。この子、一人だと夜中に大声上げて泣くから。
So she's got some trauma going on.
失敬なのよさ。今はもう泣かないのよ。時々自分のお部屋に帰って寝てるもの。
Oh, we got mad Makina.
月に一度帰るかどうかじゃない。しかも私に怒られた時とかそんな時ばっかり。ねえ、お兄ちゃんはああやって意地悪なことばっかり言う女をどう思う？
I say it's a rare thing to find a woman other than your mother who'll nag you. Take good care of her, alright?
お兄ちゃんまでそんなことを言う。随分と住みにくい世の中になったものよさ。
Why do you sound like an old
やってられ
man?
ないのよさ。
As she speaks, Makina hands me a can of orange juice. Look, Makina, can we do something about this Oni-chan thing?
なんで？
Well, how can I put this? It feels a little awkward.
そのうち慣れると思うのよ。私もマキナって呼ばれるの慣れたし。
What do you mean? You don't like being called by your own name?
実はね、私マキナって名前あんまり好きじゃないのよさ。
Oh, why is that?
なんかマキナってバギナみたいなのよさ。
I didn't think about that at all. What?
だからバギナ。
I see. Well, that's interesting.
でもね、バギーナって言うとなんかアイドルっぽいよね。
This conversation is getting worse and worse by the moment. I don't... Whatever you say. Hey, Amane.
何さ？
Is this girl high? Just what are you putting in her food?
失礼ね。何も変なものは食べさせてないわよ。
So she says, but I mean, it's like talking to someone who's just got an injection of that weird night vision hormone from the squad medic before a midnight raid. Wait, what? Look, I'm dealing with one of those people who see things they shouldn't and voices they shouldn't hear. Instinctively, I drop my hand into Makina's head and vigorously ruffle her hair around.
いてよ。
The pupils don't look dilated.
そんなに疑うならあんたも食べてく。
What?
だから晩ご飯。今夜はおでんにするつもりだから人数増えても平気だし。ほほー。おでんというと。違います。あなたが今想像したのは北欧神話の最高神です。ポケをインターセプトされた。がっかりなのよさ。
I love that she knows it's a stupid pun. No.
まあいいからいいから食べていきなさい。
Ah, hey.
下手に断ってアマネーに恥かかせちゃダメなのよ。いいからおいで。
Makina seizes my hand and tries to forcibly drag me further inside. Well, alright, fine. I guess we'll come in since she put clothes on. Probably won't be anything I dislike in an Odin stew anyways. Pretty much eat anything that's put in front of me, but I do have some foods I find a little difficult to deal with on a psychological level.
はい、ここ座って。
Probably, bullet. Offered a cushion with a cute, girly design. I sit down a bit reluctantly. In an instant, Makina has plopped herself down on top of my knees. Why? Why?
何さ。
Why? Why are you sitting on my lap?
嫌なの。
They didn't need to do this. Not what I'm saying, but that line's familiar. I hadn't realized until now, but Makina seems to have a habit of imitating Amane's speech. Now that I think about it, that, you know, she's always tagging on at the end of her sentences. For no particular reason, seems like it might be a corruption of Amane's frequent, you know? Makina's forcible tone and attitude towards men reminds me of a certain someone. They do say pets start to resemble their owners. Someday this girl might well become the sort of evil woman who walks around with her tits hanging halfway out, seducing struggling shopkeepers into giving away their livelihood. We can't have that. To tell the truth, from my current position, Makina's modest breasts are clearly visible. For those of certain tastes, those things might have a power to tempt exceeding that of Amane's oversized udders.
何？
Hey, Amane!
何よ、今手が離せないんだけど。
Why does this girl jump onto men's laps without a second thought? I'm leaning towards blaming you.
はぁ？嫌なら下ろせばいいじゃない。
Not saying I hate it, but if she starts casually hopping on top of strange old men in town, I think we might run into some problems.
大丈夫よ。言ったと思うけど、マキナって結構人見知りするから。っていうか、あんたたち、いつの間にそんなに仲良くなったの？
Well, we've had a couple of chances to talk recently, I guess.
それにしたって、この子がこんなに早く男の人に懐くのって初めてよ。あんた
Nothing particularly
マキナに何したの？
Oh, she wasn't done talking. My bad. I'm just trying to cut Amane off. Nothing particularly comes to mind.
男の人とは話すのだって苦手なのに、マキナとまともに会話できる男の人って八百屋のおじさんぐらいよ。
I don't know, we've had a lot of time to spend with Makina. But a fact. So why has Makina gotten so attached to me? I don't remember taming her with food or teaching her dirty games behind Mommy's back. Wait, what? I searched my memory, but nothing really stands out.
ね、お兄ちゃん、これ開けて。
It's hard to take this seriously when they are presenting this scene like this. Really disinterested in my ruminations, Makina pushes her can of orange juice towards me and tilts her head to the side as she asks for help. Pretty standard pattern among women playing the moe type, who try to tickle the male heart with an appeal to their helplessness. But Makina's fingers are so stubby and thin that it's clearly genuine. Here you go.
ありがとう、お兄ちゃん。何？なんかあんたたち本当に仲がいいわね。マキナがこんなに人に甘えるのって珍しいわよ。
If you tried to pull something like that, I'd probably punch you,
なん
right?
で私本人に同意を求めるかな。それで私になんて答えろっての？
So she doesn't just let anybody pamper her like
そう
this.
ね。私以外にそうやってベタベタすることってほとんどないかな。
I see. While they're not walking is paying any attention to our conversation about her, she continues to flip through the book on my lap without comment.
もうマーキーな、おっぱい見えてるってば。ブラしなさいっていつも言ってるでしょ。だってあれきついのよさ。きついって言うほど出っ張っちゃいないでしょがあんた。いいからおいで。もうちょっとで読み終わるのに。ほら着せてあげるから立ってん。
Bonnie reaches her hands under Makina's armpits and forcibly drags her up off my knees. Sense of emptiness might be going a bit far, but the sudden removal of that limp, warm creature from my lap leaves me feeling slightly lonely.
はい、ちゃんと自分の足で立つの。
I'm glad that he has a good relationship with Makina. I mean, even from her perspective, she doesn't really trust too many people, so it's nice that he's gotten her to open up to him. But I like that he kind of enjoys her company almost as much as she enjoys his.
もう足踏んでるし。ごめんよ。もうほらキャミ脱がすから万歳して。万歳。
Oh gosh, I'm gonna have to censor a lot this episode. How about having her put on her clothes by herself?
この子服着るの下手なのよ。へいうか服が嫌いなのね。病院ではずっとスモックしか着てなかったって言うし。
Gowns.
ほら病院で手術を受ける人が着るやつ、背中で縛って着るの。
Alright.
あればっかり着てたせいか、ゆるっとした服じゃないと嫌がるし、こうやって誰かが服を着せてあげないとパンツすら履かないのよね。ちょっと。
I was kind of like that, like, growing up, but not so much anymore.
まあね、我慢しなさい。こうやって背中と脇の下から脂肪を寄せ集めてカップに詰めるの。息苦しいのよさ。
I mean, should probably just get her a bigger size then.
女ってのは息苦しいものなのよ。はい、できた。どう？巨乳？
Yeah, they're shockingly big. What do you eat to get a pair like that?
パン？あとイチゴ。そりゃ
Pawn and
単純に
Ichigo,
あんたの好きな食べ物でしょうが。
Makina likes bread and strawberries best. So I wonder if she likes a PB&J. Kind of a childish taste, but I guess that fits her with her
基
personality.
本的にあんまりご飯食べないのよこの子。でもなぜかパンと果物だけはよく食べるのよね。パンは硬いパンがいいのよさ。
Hard bread, what's with that?
ほらフランスパンとかドイツの方の硬いパンあるでしょ。
Oh, I mean, I'm not a huge bread fan to begin with, but I especially didn't like the hard ones like that.
日本人は普通さ、ふわふわでもちもちしたパンが好きなんだけど、なぜかこの子は重くて硬いパンが好きなのよね。ふにゃふにゃしたパンなんざ歯の悪いグランマの食い物なのよさ。パンはやっぱりどっしりとした重みと歯ごたえがないと美味しくないのよさ。
You know, I was wondering if they were making kind of a lewd joke here, and as soon as she said limp, I'm like, okay, they're definitely making a dirty joke here.
まあ朝はあんまり食べたがらないんだけど、チーズとハムとレタスをライ麦パンに挟んだサンドイッチならもりもり食べるわよ。
I see.
ねえあまね、私もう本読んでいい？いいわよ。ちゃんと床に座って読みなさい。ユウジくんの膝の上でジュースこぼしたりしないように。
You don't have it easy, do you, Amane?
まあ手のかかる子だけど、そこが可愛いって思えばあまり苦にはならないし、変な子だなとは思うけど、これがあの子の素の状態なのよね。
I'm the sort who tend to suspect the girl's purposely acting younger than her age to take advantage of her childish looks, but in this case I don't think I can disagree. That really is just how she is.
それにね、あの子自分で自分のことバカだって言うけど、そんなに頭が悪いわけじゃないのよ。むしろ 私なんかよりずっと頭いいんだから。
Yeah, she certainly is witty at times. Suppose if we use you as a standard, the gap isn't quite that dramatic, but
失礼な。というか、マキナを侮っちゃダメよ。証拠見せてあげようか。
demonstration.
マキナ、ちょっとおいで。
なんなのよさ。
あんたその本読み終わった？
そうね、大体は。
じゃあその本ちょっと貸してみ。問題出してあげる。
いいけど。
Wanda takes the book from Makina and promptly hands it over to me.
そんじゃ161ページ。
動物の進化シリーズ、大型恐竜の時代、中生代ジュラ紀。約1億4600年前から2億年前。中生代第2の時代はジュラ紀と呼ばれ、恐竜の時代としてよく知られている。三畳紀に出現した恐竜たちは数多くの種を生み出し、その繁栄は後の白亜紀まで続く。
あれ？これってザリガニの本じゃないの？
A general book about animals aimed at children. There's lots of other stuff in there as well. I opened the book Amane handed me to page 161. Spread across both pages a colorful illustration of the plesiosaur, with words in a bold white typeface printed all around it.
内容は合ってる？
She was indeed. Without even a single misplaced word.
じゃあ次は29ページ。
そこは広告ページ。合文社の子供の学習シリーズ、働く自動車、神秘の世界宇宙、野鳥で見る環境科学、絶滅した愉快な動物。日本の工場、コンタクトレンズができるまで、土と微生物の働き、有機栽培の野菜作り。
Wait, I thought this was supposed to be a children's book. This sounds pretty advanced.
じゃあ86ページは？
猫より犬の方が賢いって本当？犬の種類の多様性は他の種をはるかにしのぎ多岐にわたる。長年人間の手によって交配されてきた犬の歴史は狩猟用や刀剣用や愛玩用とさまざまなバリエーションを生み出し。
どう？合ってるでしょ？
She's correct, alright.
どうよ、すごくない？この短時間でパラパラっと流し読みしただけであの本の内容丸々一冊全部覚えちゃったんだよ。天才じゃない？
I wonder if she's like genuinely memorizing it all, or if she has a photographic memory that she can go back to. Pretty amazing to be sure. I mean, either way, like that's incredible.
あれ？あんまり驚いてないね。
Okay, now I've got a question. Do you remember the photograph of a bird on page 144?
覚えてるのよ。
What color is it?
えっと
If I say blue, you'd sort of think
わかんない。
blue. But if I say red, you get the feeling it might be red.
うん。
Thought so.
なーに？どういうこと？
Seems like Makina memorizes the pages in monochrome, loses the color information.
え？
Easier to memorize it quickly that way, right?
そういうことなのよさ。
いや、ごめん。私にはさっぱりわからない。
So she has photographic memory, but she doesn't retain the color. That's interesting. To tell the truth, my sister had the exact same skill. First, I was my big sister's speed reading when she was 7 years old. Watching her flip through a stack of books from the school library incredibly quickly, I couldn't suppress my curiosity. Can you really read them like that? My sister answered, I'm not reading them, but I am memorizing the contents in a perfectly casual tone of voice. Completely incredulous. I tested my sister on the spot, exactly like Amane did with Makina just now. I gave her a page number and asked her to read me back the contents, and of course she remembered every single word. According to her, it's much faster to memorize the books when they're in black and white. When dealing with books where color information wasn't important, she could memorize 2 pages simultaneously using her left and right eye. I was totally dumbfounded at the time. 4 years later, by the time she was 11, my sister was managing rapid memorization of color books as well. Thanks to long hours of practice, her left and right eye could actually memorize separate books simultaneously. Hearing that went past the level of surprise was outright terrifying. Basically, she's not reading the book, she's recording the pages as an image in the right side of her brain. When we ask her about the content, she reproduces the image in her right brain and reads it by consciously interpreting the characters with her left brain. Sounds about right, Makina.
そうそううまく説明できないけどそういうことなのよさ
I'm sure, like, people can actually do this, but I feel like the odds of somebody being able to do this is very low. Like, I've never heard of somebody doing this.
わかんないな。具体的にはどうやってるの？
I think you could retain, like, a general idea of the contents, but to be able to, like, point to just a random page and then recite it word for word, I think that would be, like, I don't know. I mean, I want to say 1 in a million, but that's still a lot of people. Maybe it is that high. I don't know the details myself, but it's basically looking at this page as a picture instead of lines and characters and saving a mental snapshot. Ignoring the meaning, she processes it rapidly as light information, then draws out the meaning later on as she needs it. Because, I mean, if you were able to do this, I don't see why you couldn't get, like, a perfect score on any test. Like, having read material on that subject beforehand. Like, you would be able to just recall anything. Like, that would be, like, superhuman. Put it more simply, it's sort of like she's downloading a compressed file to her hard drive, then extracting what she needs later, I guess. Yeah, that would be, like, on the level of a computer. To be able to, like, retain information like that. Like I said, I'm not saying nobody can do this, but the average person definitely can't do this.
何それ？つまり本を読み終わった時点では本の内容を知らないってこと？
Because I think about when I was younger, the thing I had trouble with was reading comprehension. I could understand what I was reading at the time that I was reading it, but my memory didn't allow me to, like, record it nearly as well. So, like, when I finished the book and, like, tried to tell you place by place what happened in each chapter, I would really struggle with that. And I still kind of do to a way. I've had to get better, but that really shows when I'm trying to recall information from, you know, all the visual novels I played. It's really hard for me sometimes to remember exactly all the details. Sometimes I just don't, you know, record them. Whereas she's memorizing the whole page and can look back on that in her memory. I can't even visualize the details. Like, I'm trying to in my mind right now, like, just trying to think of a book page and, like, focus on, like, individual words. I can't even do that.
私の一番の問題は一度覚えたはずなのにその記憶をどこにしまったか忘れちゃうことなのよさ
ダメじゃん。
Like, I know the human brain, like, can expand. Like, as you learn more information, you can retain more. You can train your brain to just constantly make more space. But that's wild. Even if you can record something in your mind, your memory as a whole could still be a disorganized mess. Apparently, you can work on that by training your synapses.
どうやって？
If you repeatedly memorize the same information, it stimulates your synapses and makes it harder to forget. My sister would record the same image 8 times over before she turned the page. Other than that, you can also memorize while moving your body in specific ways, which ties the image to your procedural memory and makes it more durable.
よくわかんね
That's fine. Not like there's any reason you have to turn into a genius like that.
そうそう。天才になったところで得られるのは賞賛じゃなくて敵意と嫉妬だって言うじゃない？
Like, I would have trouble saying even, like, Albert Einstein would be able to do that. Like, I'm sure he's incredibly smart, but I don't think he could memorize even a page word for word out of hundreds of pages. Who's they? Where did you hear that?
誰だっけ？なんかの本で読んだような気がするけど覚えてないわ。ねえ、
あんまねザリガニに餌あげる時間だよ。
はいはい。今缶詰開けてあげるからちょっと待ってなさい。
You're feeding this crawfish canned food. I guess I'll be going back to my room, but as those words start to leave my mouth, Makina firmly grabs hold of my hand.
ねえ、座って。一緒に本を読んでほしいのよさ。
Didn't you finish already?
そうだけど、一緒にいてほしいのよさ。
No, that's really not what I meant.
ねえ、知ってる？ 女には男に甘えたい日があるものなのよ。
It's the first I've heard of it.
それがなんと今日なのよさ。だから甘えさせてくれなきゃダメなのよ。
I see, guess there's no helping it then. I want to be spoiled, so you better spoil me. What an unreasonable demand. If this was Amane, I think I would laugh in her face, call her an idiot, and finish things off with a poke to the forehead. For some reason, when Machina gets all clean, it's a bit difficult to fight back. Can't get myself too hard, to be too hard on her. Maybe it's because she looks and acts like a child. He's kind of mentioned it too. I think that she reminds him of his sister. Often children, well, that isn't a bad thing by any means. I'm probably the type who dies first when the terrorists start strapping bombs to their kids. What? I don't understand Yuji's mind sometimes, the places he goes. Now that I think about it, it's not like you're really that much younger than me, are you? Don't give me that puzzled face.
まあまあ、ほら、こっち来て座って。そして抱っこしてちょうだい。
Look, you, just for the record, today's a one-time deal. Don't think I'll let you cling to me whenever you want, got it?
はいはい。もう、お兄ちゃんってば本当にツンデレなんだから。
Again, with this, I'd never really given the matter any thought, but could it be that I really am a tsundere? I mean, can we define the term first? Isn't the tsundere a subspecies of woman that's usually prickly and harsh, but then goes all gooey and sweet for some reason? In that case, I don't get it. What exactly have I ever been that saturating lovey-dovey mode? I'll come to think of it, and letting Machina occupy my knee like this, I have to admit my aura of masculinity seems to have faded a bit. This is merely an expression of my magnanimous spirit towards the young. It's not like I'm giving her lap access because I personally enjoy having her there, or anything. Oh, that last sentence is so good. He sounds like a tsundere.
そうだねえユージくん
What?
そういえばさザリガニの餌ってサバの水煮缶でもいいのかな
Oh yeah, basically anything without carotene is fine.
おや
What's that supposed to mean? What is that already? Making fun of... You're making me ill. If you have something to say, how about you say it?
いやーなんかもうすっかり懐いてるなーといいな羨ましい
No one told me to make friends with Machina, you know?
やだな別に責めてないじゃないでも正直こんなに早く馴染むとは思ってなかったからちょっと意外かな
So wasn't he saying that that was kind of a Mane saying that Machina was kind of doing? And now you notice he says, you know.
あれマキナ寝ちゃった
Say what? I thought she'd been unusually quiet for a few seconds there, but at some point Machina's eyes have fallen shut. Still sitting on my lap, her head is jerking back and forth with her breathing. Sure, she was awake just a minute ago.
ああマキナはねたまにあるのよそうやって突然寝ちゃうことが
Yeah, she fell asleep under that tree before. Yeah, in the rose garden, conscious in the bushes. Frequent occurrence.
まあ頭をたくさん使った時とかたまにねさっき本を読んでたからそれが原因かもその子放っておくと1日14時間ぐらい眠るのよ
That's a lot. Really does remind you of a cat, doesn't she?
時々立ったまま寝ちゃうことがあってそのまま倒れて頭を打ったりするから気をつけないといけないんだけど今日はユージくんの膝の上で助かったわ
I don't get it. Why get all attached to a guy like me?
そう私にはなんとなくわかるような気もするな
Hmm?
そう例えばさユージくんはマキナのことを見てかわいそうな子だなって思う
No, can't say it does. More like what a hopeless kid, I can't say I've ever felt pity for her.
でしょまずはそれが一番の理由じゃないかな
Is there a number two reason?
そうねユージくん本人はあんまり自覚がないかもしれないけどユージくんってマキナのこと嫌いじゃないでしょっていうかちょっと可愛いと思ってない
Yeah, I've definitely got that impression. Not sure about that one. I definitely don't hate her. That said, I think I've thought of her as an annoying more often than cute. You got the wrong idea about me, Amane, but I tend to say what I think, even to kids. When Makina annoys me, I tell her straight out.
そうやってマキナが膝の上で寝ちゃってるのにどかそうともしない人の言うことじゃないよ、それ。
Well, I don't have any real reason to wake her up at the moment, I guess.
でもまあ、そうだね。変に我慢して同情されるより、はっきりと言ってくれる人の方がわかりやすいのね、マキナには。
I mean, isn't that kind of an autistic thing? I mean, I'm not saying I'm autistic, but I definitely like when people are more straightforward. I think it's easy to get offended, though, when people do that sometimes, because we're so not used to hearing that. At least, and I'm speaking from, you know, an American background. Like, people aren't really too straightforward sometimes, and if they are, it comes off as really mean. Especially if they're, like, trying to, like, correct you on something. I don't treat her gingerly out of sympathy. When she does something truly stupid, I don't overlook it out of pity. Makina actually prefers it that way. Is that what she's saying?
それでいて、結局はマキナに甘いしね。そりゃ懐くわよ。
I'm sweet to her.
まあいいんじゃない？そういうらしくないところも含めてユージくんなんだしさ。
I think Yuji is overall a nice guy. I think he is pretty considerate. Obviously, he comes from kind of a military background, and I like to think that the military is kind of based around an idea of respect, respecting people, respecting your mission, respecting your weapon, those kinds of things. And you're such an expert on my character.
マキナ起きた？
私また寝ちゃってた。
Gosh, she looks like she has such a long face when her mouth is all the way down there.
まあ15分ぐらいかな。何か夢を見た？
覚えてない。
そっか。じゃあはいこれ。
何？
サバ缶だよ。ザリガニに餌をあげるんでしょ？
そっか。たくさん食べてまるまると太るのよ。
She's kind of tottering around. Is that a good idea?
いつものことだし平気よ。
She eating it? Sure about that. She seems to be eating from the can of crawfish
いつ
food.
ものことだし平気よ。
Oh, that's normal. She does that all the time. Kind of feels like you don't really give a damn.
それもいつものことよ。
Haha. My throat sticks shut halfway through an attempt at a laugh, but I'm sent into a coughing fit.
ちょっと大丈夫？
Money grabs the half-finished can of orange juice Makina left lying on the table and hands it over to me. I gulp down the contents immediately. I'm fine. I'm as terrible at laughing as I am at smiling. Also par on the course.
それはいつか直してあげなきゃね。
Fix? Why is that necessary in the first place? Is a crappy smile really something you can fix? Yeah. Oh yeah, you can absolutely practice your smile and fix it.
まあとりあえずあんたの作り物っぽい笑顔とマキナのデタラメな言葉遣いを直してあげるのが私の当面の目標かな。
私の言葉遣いのどこがおかしいっていうのよさ。
まず自分の言葉遣いがおかしいってことに本人が気がついていないってのが一番の問題よね。
うっさいしゃく
れ。Chin face.
あんたなんやその口の利き方。しゃくれてへんわほんで。こんこ。これ待ち。
I'm assuming the accent that they use, and I think they mentioned it before, was a Kansai accent, right? I feel like a lot of people make fun of that accent, even though I've heard that's kind of a little bit over dramatized. Like, it's really not that bad.
こんこはほんま誰に似たんか口の悪い。ええ加減にせんとお口縫うてまうよ。
そんなに強く引っ張ったらダメなの。
Every once in a while, you'll find a person with a bad habit. They're not even aware of it until someone points it out to them. Yeah, everyone has their own quirks, but that's kind of what makes people unique, you know? Watching this scene, I've had my suspicions more or less confirmed. Makina's strange quirks seem to be partially the result of contamination from Amane's less admirable habits. As a humble and discreet gentleman, I'm frankly at a loss as to whether to disrupt the status quo by informing Amane of the log in her eye. My deeply ingrained pain-in-the-ass warning system is also kicking in. There's a good chance the messenger is going to get killed on this one, so my lips are remaining sealed for the moment. Human mind is a well-designed piece of machinery. It has ways to cope with the coexistence of such pros and cons, truths and fictions. When your mind itself is facing a contradiction, your thoughts tend to fly off in completely unrelated directions. It's a self-defense mechanism, just like the burning need to clean that always pops up in the night before a big test. So before I realize it, my attention has been drawn to the pleasant rattling sound of something boiling in the pan. The Odin's broth's smooth, flavorful smell tickles my nose. I'm hungry. In the end, it would be another 30 minutes before I ate my dinner for that day. Oh, that was quite the scene. I just wish they didn't have to show something popping out. I get the point they were trying to make that she doesn't like tight-fitting things, but did you really need to? No gym teacher in this school, but that hasn't stopped some shameless individual from putting physical education on our schedule. Healthy spirit dwells in a healthy body. It's easy to laugh these words off as a relic of the baby boomer generation Neanderthal obsession with building character through guts and willpower, but in fact, it seems there actually is a good amount of scientific data linking moderate physical exercise to positive psychotropic effects. Yeah, I've always heard like getting exercise is really important for your mental health, even though you're technically doing something physical. I think your physical health just has a big role on your mental, and vice versa. I think it goes both ways. Personally, having been brought up with the simplistic lesson that basic physical strength decides things in the end, I don't have any objection to moving my body. That said, well, I mean, if you think about it, like before we had things like computers and phones, you know, things that kind of forced us to sit down and physically look at them, we as a species really were moving around more. You think about how we started learning about farming, and even before that there was hunting. You know, we were built to be moving around and to be doing physical things. You didn't have to think about education as something, oh, I need to go out and do that, right? And you even see that in other countries where you have to walk around more. I mean, probably parts of Europe, you know, Japan, like walking places is a part of your daily routine. You don't think about it as exercise. It's just a part of how you get places and how you go out and do things. Once again, looking at American perspective, you have to go out of your way sometimes here to do exercise because you won't get much during the day if you don't. And that's why we have such a big mental health, epidemic, and people are unhappy, and it's depressing, okay? What are we doing? His pointlessly powerful voice resounds across the field in response to a vaguely apathetic chorus of "yeah" from her classmates. An unenthusiastic "yeah" from the transparently disinterested Michiru. A dopey "yes" from Makina, unintentionally draining any shot of motivation from all who hear it. A vigorous "yeah" from Sachi, who's taking everything seriously as always, but her voice cracks shrilly at the clearly unfamiliar exercise. And finally, stony silence from Sakaki, sulking like a prideful middle schooler forced to participate in a children's athletic meet. Yeah, Sakaki is definitely more of like what I'd consider like the emo side of things, where she's just like, oh, whatever, you know, this is... she's like Shikamaru from Naruto, like everything's such a drag. But she's actually really intelligent and just doesn't have the motivation sometimes to put that to use. The only one of the bunch with any real energy would be Amane, thrusting her fist towards the heavens from her position on the mount. As for me, without the beginning of a clue as to what's taking place here, I'm staring absent-mindedly at the sky. How are we doing today, everybody? Hey, Amane.
Oh, nanjai ore?
Okay, I figured we were doing baseball or kickball. That was my guesses. Why are you so ridiculously fired up?
うちの子たちってなんでかみんなインドア派っていうか体を動かすのが嫌いな子が多くてね。こうしてから元気でテンション上げていかないとなかなかやる気出さないのよ。
なんだ貴様ら、どいつもこいつも青秒炭みてえな顔しやがって。気合を入れろ。ジジイのファックの方がまだ気合が入っている。この
Where the hell did she learn that from? Seems like we got some exploding with weird sort of drill sergeant energy at least.
ちょっと待っててね。マキナ、ちょっとこっちおいで。
When he sees Makina head from above like a basketball and forcibly carries her off into the shadows.
マキナ、元気なのはいいけど、言葉遣い気をつけようねっていつも言ってるよね。痛い痛い、やまね、痛いってば、割れちゃうの。そんなにしたらマキナ壊れちゃうのよさ。ラメだからラメって言っちゃダメだぞ。
Bonnie's voice somehow manages to be both sickly sweet and ice cold. It's enough to send shivers down my spine. Makina's bitter, heart-rending screams don't help either. I think Amani's trying to maintain a relatively kind tone of voice, but she's actually more frightening as a result. Crosses my mind that this could be very well described as bullying, but considering the current climate of hypersensitivity towards such matters, I'll refrain from voicing any hasty conclusions.
どうでもいいけど、やるならさっさと始めましょうよ。時間なくなるわよ。
That's fine by me, but what exactly is it that we're
い
doing?
つものスポーツでしょ。バカバカしい。どうして私がこんなことに付き合わなければいけないのかしら。
Sports. I was hoping for more specific details, but playing sports in gym class hardly seems ridiculous, more like completely commonplace.
それは私からご説明しましょう。
Before that, I've got an unrelated question, if that's alright.
はい、どうぞ。
Why are you the only one in a maid uniform?
はい。
I think we know the answer to this one. Don't give me that totally nonplussed look. For a second, you almost convinced me that I'm the strange one here.
この服ですか？よくご覧になれば一目瞭然かと存じますが、ご覧の通り、これは体操用のメイド服で。
Oh my gosh, you not only have a maid uniform, but you have multiple for different activities. Sure, let's move on. Should have asked. You already knew the question of that. We've gone over the fact why she wears one. She was told to wear one as much as possible, which apparently includes even sports. My mistake. The strangest thing here wasn't her clothes. It was me expecting anything resembling common sense from a student of the school. Okay, so what exactly does sports involve here?
ですね。なんと言いますか、種目の名前はないんですよ。
I mean, it looked like we were either doing baseball, because she had a baseball bat, or it could possibly be softball, but I don't really know the difference, to be honest, besides the type of ball they use.
キックベースのような、サッカーのような、ソフトボールのような、ドッジボールのような。
Apparently, we're doing a new genre. What kind of extreme sport is that? All I got out of your description is that there's probably a ball involved.
はい、使用するのはバレーのボールです。
So we're using a baseball bat with a volleyball? I feel like that would not work well. But she hands me a large round ball she's been holding on
こ
to.
のボールをあそこのピッチャーマウンドから投げまして、バッターボックスに立った打者が手にしたバットでそれを打ちます。
So we're playing even more scuffed softball.
はい。打球が内野に転がったら、打者は一塁へ向かって走ります。守備側は打球をキャッチして走者に向かって思いっきりボールを投げつけます。
I see. What if someone catches the ball on the fly?
それもアウトです。その辺は野球に近いかもしれないですね。
When and why did this strange game come into fashion?
別に流行ってるわけじゃないわよ。ただうちの学校って今まで学生が5人しかいなかったから、何をやるにしても人数が足りなかったのよ。
それにソフトボールをやりたいとか、ドッジボールがいいとか、いろいろと意見が分かれまして。
So you ended up just doing all of them at once. That's pretty much what it looks like. Since you're doing Sakaki.
そうやって何でもかんでも私のせいにしないでほしいわね。もう確かに言い出したのは私だけれど。
Don't complain when I blame you.
いつまで経っても意見の一致が見られないから。だったら全部やればいいと言っただけよ。別に全てをいっぺんにやれと言った覚えはないわ。それよりもルールが理解できたのならさっさと始めてほしいのだけれど。
What about Amane and Makina?
いるわよここに。
引っこ抜けっかと思ったのよさ。
What
首
exactly?
とか魂とか。
Come on.
何よ、教育でしょ。この子ってば注意してあげないとどんどん汚い言葉を覚えてバンバン使いたがるんだから。
I'm just wondering who taught her all that. Are you her mother or what? So after 15 minutes of wasted time with Amane's second shot of "Alright, let's do this," our bewildering match of Mystery Extreme Sports begins. Through the impartial results of rock, paper, scissors matches, the teams are divided as follows. Bear team, pitcher, Suo Amane, catcher, Sakaki Yumiko, fielder, Irisu Makina. Rabbit team, pitcher, Kazumi Yuji, catcher, Komene Sachi, and fielder, Matsushima Michiru. Our rabbit team ends up being first at bat. The leadoff batter dons a softball helmet, grabs a colorful metal bat, and takes her place in the batter's
よー
box.
し、かかってきなさい。
With a grating high-pitched shout, Michiru thrusts her bat out to point at the pitcher's mound, where Amane is settling into her stance with the volleyball in hand. What's this? Considering how apathetic she was, Michiru's gotten surprisingly into it. And that's how the game started. Now the game started.
みちる様は何と言いますか。とりあえず何でも嫌ってみて、何にでも面倒くさがってみるところから始める人なんですけど、いざ始まってしまえば一番ムキになる方ですから。
I see, but I'm willing to bet she's also the first one to get bored.
ご明察です。
Though she's like a star that shines really bright, you know, and it burns out the quickest. Unaware of the critical analysis she's receiving from her teammates, Michiru takes a few vigorous practice swings and glares up at
前
Amane.
回の借り、今日こそ返してあげるわ。あー、なんだっけ、おめえ挽回。ちょっと言い間違えただけでしょ。人の小さなミスをそうやっていつまでもネチネチと、もう。
Watching Michiru stamp her feet in frustration in the batter's box, I whispered to Sachi, who was sitting next to me on the bench. So what happened last time?
前回の授業でみちる様はあまねさんから1点も取ることができなかったんです。それでまあ試合終了後に大きな声で「このおめえはいつか挽回するから覚えていなさい」と。
Sounds exactly like what would have happened. Disgrace tends to be something you want to repay, not regain. I guess the words are kind of similar. Michiru must have gotten all excited and shouted out a garbled sentence before she even knew what she was saying. Just a thought here. Maybe Michiru might Michiru be something of an idiot. I feel like that's not the first time he said it this episode.
私の口からは何とも申し上げにくいです。
そこ聞こえてるわよ。ごちゃごちゃうるさい。
Yeah, sorry, I didn't intend to distract you. We'll keep quiet, so please regain as much disgrace as you
だか
like.
らおめえは返上するもので挽回するものじゃないのよ。ラッキー。
Gosh, you're making this picture bounce quite a lot. As Michiru screeches like a drugged monkey and brandishes her bat overhead, Amani's first pitch sails over the plate.
ストライク。
こーらずるいわよ。なんもずるないわ。試合はもう始まってんねん。屈辱だ。
Receiving the return throw from Sakaki, Amane carefully finds her foothold in the pitcher's mound, a fearless smile on her face.
ほら、第2球行くわよ。来い。
With that intense shout, Michiru takes firm hold of her bat and fixedly watches Amane's pitching motion. Looking closely, Michiru's got the position of her hands on the bat reversed. If I mention that now, I get the feeling her only response would be another shut it. Guess I'll just watch her over her gallant battle with silent respect. Amane twists her long limbs into a sidearm motion, and the volleyball soars towards the squatting Sakaki's hands at an ideal velocity and angle.
ホームラン。
With an explosion of energy, Michiru swings the bat at full force, but tragically she cuts through empty air at a good 10 centimeters above the top of the ball, her blonde twin tails swinging aimlessly behind her.
ストライク。
なんでよ。
Michiru slams her bat at home plate in a towering rage.
あと1球よ、みちるちゃん。ちゃんって言うな。子供扱いしないでよ。次こそは打つ。この日のために編み出した伝説の打法が。
Hey Michiru,
何よ。
got your hands wrong. You're batting right, so your right hand should be on top. You got it backwards.
知ってるわよ、わざとよ。どう持つのよ。
You're obviously clueless. Hold it with your right fist higher on the bat, your left fist
そう
below.
いうことはもっと早く言いなさいよ。なんなのよもう。ねえ、続けていいの？いいわよ。いつでも来なさいよ。もう少し待ちなさいよ。
I'm ready for you anytime, but wait, hold on a second.
どっちなの？来い。
Teacher bears her fighting spirit. Amani's face briefly suggested dubious. Are you sure about that? But she's not the type to think too hard about that sort of thing. Her expression soon gives way to a smirking grin.
んじゃあ全力で行くよ。
Forcefully swinging the ball up in her right hand, Amani takes a step forward on the mound, throwing the movements of her entire body into the pitch. Ball flies out of Amani's hands, whistling through the air directly at its target, which is
み
Michiru.
ちる様、危ない。想定通りよ。
Michiru, anticipating the bean ball, pulls back half a step with her pivot legs and swings her bat into a wide arc.
つらえ。伝説のピッチャー返し。
Michiru's vigorous stroke with the bat catches the ball beautifully in the sweet spot, sending it flying back towards Amani on the mound.
あれは伝説のピッチャー返しです。
You know, I'm not even gonna say anything. Well, that's what she screams, so I would assume so. Exactly. Where and how this thing became a legend is a question for another day. The ball rushes back towards Amani, who's still in an awkward position, releasing her pitch. That thing's gonna hit her. So I thought for a split second. Amani nimbly recovers and takes a firm stance as the ball approaches her.
なんの必殺ピッチャー返し返し。
Turning it to the side, she swings back with her left elbow and unleashes a firm right-handed fist stab in monocrotic form. A resounding thud, the ball is sent flying back towards where Michiru stands in the batter's box.
おのれこしゃくな。ヒギピッチャー返し返し返し。
Michiru fires it right
無
back.
駄もだ。ピッチャー返し返し返し返し。おーピッチャー返し返し返し返し返し。のりゃーピッチャー返し返し返し返し返し返し。
Right off the bat, we already find ourselves in a deadlock, or rather, what the hell is with this development? Sort of reminded those martial arts matches where both fighters run into the center of the ring at the first gong, stop dead, and then start bashing away at each other, but where do things go from here? Are they planning to repeat pitcher paybacks until they run out of steam? Can't read the next move. Strange game. There's no apparent path to victory for either side.
負けるな。ゴーあまねゴーピッチャー投げし。
Meanwhile, Makina doesn't even say it right. Isachi.
はい、なんでしょう。
What exactly is a pitcher pack?
さあ、おそらくですけど、マキちゃんは舌が短いので、ピッチャー返しと言おうとしてセリフを噛んだだけかと。
I see.
うーんのー、ピッチャー返し返し返し返し返し返し返し。なんとー、ピッチャー返し返し返し返し返し返し返し返し。
Sparks continue to fly as the battle to the death between mound and batter's box continues along its repetitive course, but, I mean, what exactly are they getting all worked up over? It's too damn hot for this. I suppose women have their own battles that must be fought to the bitter end. This is clearly a contest between two truly indomitable spirits. By the way, Sachi,
はい、なんでしょう。
just how long is this futile exchange going to continue?
さあ、おそらくはどちらかが諦めるか飽きるかするまでだと思いますけど。
Truly a thrilling edge-of-your-seat battle of the wills. Mind if I use this opportunity to go buy a drink?
私が買ってきましょうか。
No, I think I'll get it myself this time. My weird Sachi skewers me with a searching glare.
まさか榊さんみたいにジュースを買いに行くって言ってそのまま帰ってこないつもりじゃないですよね。ダメですよ。
Damn it. As I thought, damn, she saw through me runs through my head. I make eye contact with Sakaki, who still crouched behind the plate.
なんなの？こっちを見ないでくれる？
She's just sitting there watching all this. He's a previous offender,
う
eh?
るさいわね。こんなの時間の浪費だわ。
Well, can't argue with that. We resign ourselves to watch over their battle to the end with the calm gazes of the elderly, watching their overly energetic grandchildren skip rope with all their might. Just as I'm beginning to think that this fiery clash of pride between Michiru and Amane might truly never end. Conclusion arrives in unexpected form.
じゃあ返し返し返し返し返し返し返し返し返し返し返し返し返しピーちゃん返し返し返し返し
Oh, that didn't sound good.
はい何でしょう
What does that god just now
さ
signify?
あおそらくですけれどあまねさんが足を滑らせて足首をくじいた音ではないでしょうか
Yeah, that sounded nasty. Wait, should that be my reaction here? So isn't this kind of bad?
やばいですか
Now she stares blankly back at me for a moment. After a beat, her eyes widen and her mouth springs open.
いえやばいですよ
We were caught in such a stupid loop for so long that we're just totally in shock when something bad happens. To her, they jump off the bench. Maki is already rushing up to Amane, who's currently arriving on the mound. Why did they have to put her fading out? Oh my gosh. Although it might look like a slapstick comedy scene if you squint, the atmosphere is actually pretty tense until a burst of out-of-place laughter breaks it.
それ見たことか
Mitra points towards the mount with her right hand, her left hand resting on her hip, her proud face the image of woman triumph.
ああこの私にこの私に勝負を挑もうなんて10年早いわよ
Should you really be striking a victory pose? You're completely burned out yourself.
うるさいわねこの程度なんてことダメごめんクラクラするサチ酸素持ってきて
How do you bring someone oxygen? Faint voice abruptly. Ailing her all together, Mitru's body begins to shake violently. She collapses to her knees on the spot with a thump.
倒れたよ
Oh my gosh.
死んだよ Oh my god なんてこったどうして私の好きになる人はみんな死んじゃうのよさ
Why does everyone have to be so dramatic?
死んでないからちょっと立ちくらみが
Okay, don't throw up, please. Just got a sparkling vomit on the ground with a sickening gurgle. Well, she threw up. This be the so-called double KO. Sasachi, in this case, can be declared the one who stands upside down. Or, stands upside down. I swear I'm adding words that aren't even there. Can we declare the one who stands up inside the 10 count the winner?
いえもうそういった場合じゃないと思いますすみません風見さん私はみちる様の様子を見ますのであまねさんの方お願いできますか
Roger.
閉じた
Oh, you are very close.
あまね大丈夫今なんかグキって曲がっちゃいけない方に足が曲がってたよね
Probably shouldn't try to stand. If the bone's broken, the pressure might make it break the skin.
怖いこと言わないでよ
Hey, we're just looking out for you. Let me see your foot.
うん
Money, supported by her hands, slowly shifts to a sitting position on the mound. Take her right leg in my hand and lift it up to take a look. It's not any worse than I'd expected. Fortunately, there doesn't seem to be a fracture, but there is red swelling beginning around the joint. Doesn't seem to be broken, but a sprain. Well, if we're unlucky, it might be a partial fracture.
捻挫か久しぶり私さ身長の割に足のサイズが小さいから昔からよく転ぶのよね
Either way, it's the infirmary for you. Can you stand?
なんとか
Don't put weight on your right foot. Just get yourself onto my back. Don't give me that. It's not so bad right now because you're pumped full of adrenaline from the shock, but if you overdo it, you'll be crying later. Hurry up and get on.
優しいどうしたの急に
I'm not gonna play along with your jokes right now. If you're hurt, stop wasting time and do what I tell you. Bonnie softly leans her body against my back and grabs the shoulders of my gym uniform somewhat hesitantly. You need a better grip than that. Wrap your arms around. Get a hold of my neck.
わかったわよこう
As instructed, Bonnie wraps her arms around my neck, pushing her breast firmly against my back. Why do you have to mention that? I'll maybe be throwing a joke or two at this point. This isn't the time. Such, I'm taking her to the infirmary. How's Michiru?
はいみちる様は今酸素吸入中です5分程度で回復すると思われます
It's currently taking oxygen, so she's breathing. Good. Ishiro lies flat on the ground, limp as a beach tuna. Sachi's holding a portable can of oxygen to her mouth as we speak. Oh, you actually had one of those on you? Of course you do. Leaving command of the field to you, adjust your tactics as the situation demands. Can you handle it, class representative?
小峰幸いただきます。
For some reason, maybe instinctively reacting to my tone, Sachi raised a hand and salute towards me. Alright, here we go, Amane.
ごめん。
Not a problem. This isn't something you need to apologize for. Thought about their response, but ultimately decided against it. The wounded tend to grow timid towards those around him. Better to avoid wording that might make her think of herself as baggage, burdening others. Don't want to increase her anxiety. I keep up a flow of communication, standard procedure to ensure the wounded doesn't fade out of pain. Where's the infirmary, Amane? Do you know?
その先を右。突き当たりまで行ったら左に行くと保健室があるよ。
We'll be there soon. Try to endure it for a moment.
大げさだな。たかが捻挫だよ。
Don't make light of leg injuries. Soldiers get abandoned when they can't walk.
へえって。いや、まあ、そっか。そうだよね。怪我した子から死んでいくんだよね。
Don't worry, Japan doesn't desert you, and I won't leave you to die either.
ごめんね。私、重いでしょ。
Not particularly. 5 bags of rice or so at most.
ちょっと、なんで私の体重知ってるのよ。
I'm used to carrying around heavy luggage on my back. I can estimate weight from the feeling on my shoulders.
あのさ、おぶってもらっておいてこんなこと言うのもあれなんだけど、この場合ね、普通は全然重くないよとかさ、なんかこう女の子に対して気を使ったりするもんなんじゃないのかな。
You're lighter than I expected. Probably only looked heavy from your height. And that oversized chest, you've got long legs too. Must throw me off.
足が長いって褒めてくれてるのは嬉しいけど、なんか複雑。ちなみに私の体重ってどれぐらいだと予想してた？
My impression is that you'd be comfortably above 60 kilos.
そういうことを言わないの。
As she speaks, Amane sharply tightens her arms into a chokehold around my neck. Look, stop thrashing around. You'll be the one crying if I drop you. Come to a brief halt on the spot and lift Amane's body, which had been sliding down my back, up more firmly around my shoulders.
そっか、今ならユウジ君、両手が塞がってるよね。
What are you planning, woman? The next moment, Amane gently closes her eyes, still clinging to my neck. She brings her lips close. Hey! Take an immediate evasive action in response to her suspicious movements, but Amane's lips nonetheless press against my cheek.
チェ、
They look more like your neck, but okay. Oh, I guess it was supposed to be aimed at her cheek and it hit her neck. What was wrong with this woman? But half a mind to drop her on the hallway floor, but we are dealing with an injured party here. From edge to the side to stare into Amane's face, finding her blushing in apparent embarrassment. I thought, I met her for the first time at this school, but maybe.
何よ、人の顔じっと見て。
Nothing. No matter how long or carefully I study Amane's features, nothing comes to mind. I was entertaining the possibility she might have been some childhood friend I parted from in tears or what have you, but I'm pretty well convinced that isn't the case. She would leave. They look like the lover you were tragically separated from in your previous incarnation, is that it?
何それ、人を電波扱いしないでよ。っていうか、この学園でそういうこと言わないの。シャレにならないから。
Pouting her lips, Amane knocks a fist against my head with a solid thunk. What are you anyways?
つをあまね。
Yes, my short-term memory is perfectly fine, thanks. Every time Amane speaks, her soft breath strikes my ear. It's just my imagination, or has her body temperature slowly been rising while I've had her on my back? She suffered a partial fracture on the ankle. Might be that her body's beginning to generate a fever. Better get a move on. Again, lifting Amane further on my back, I heard to the infirmary. Doc, emergency case. Get a move on.
いや、ドクって。
Still carrying Amane, I push my way forcefully into the room and shout for attention, but there's no one here whatsoever, much less a doctor. Why isn't anyone here? Everyone take a break all at
うち
once.
には保健の先生っていないのよ。とりあえずベッドの上で下ろして、あとは自分でやるから。
There's no doctor, you mean? They haven't hired anyone at all to staff this room.
そういうこと。
For the time being, I lower Amane onto a nearby bed.
保健の先生が来るって話は前からあるんだけど、なかなかいい人が見つからないみたいでね。薬とかは業者の人が来てたまに入れ替えてるみたいなんだけど。
Well, fine, I'll take care of the
で
treatment.
きるの？
Other than first aid at my previous school, I can handle something like this at least. I kneel in front of Amani's legs and untie and remove her athletic shoe, then take her red swollen right ankle in my hand. I'm gonna move it. Tell me if it hurts. Her ankle's slender, but compared to her uninjured left foot, is clearly inflamed pretty badly. Bend Amani's ankle to various angles, carefully searching for the location of her injury. It's not fractured at all. I think the ligament might have been stretched or the joint capsule ruptured. Taking a roll of medical tape from the infirmary first aid kit, I loosely wrap it around Amani's ankle, restricting the range the joint can move. I retrieve ice from the freezer, stuff it into the bag, and press it over the injury through a towel, leaving the heat of the inflammation.
ありがとう。ずいぶん楽になったわ。手慣れてるのね。
Well, just a bit. I'm accustomed to treating sprains and burns, at least. When I was a kid, I was getting hit pretty much every day, and I still get my fair share of injuries even now.
やっぱり優しいね。ユージくん。
Spare me. Exactly how my nice guy just treated an injury. Anybody would do.
そうやって冷たい態度を取るのは、私に優しいやつだって勘違いされると、甘えられて鬱陶しいから？
You're surprisingly perceptive. A lot of his words are pretty close to the bullseye. When human beings find kindness, they naturally take advantage of it. That's unfortunate we have to say that, you know? But they realize that they're grown dependent on that kindness. They lose their ability to function without it. If I disappeared, what would you do with yourself? My master spoke these words to me when I was still a child.
正直ね、保健室に着いた時点で、じゃあ俺は行くからって言われるのを覚悟してたんだけど、ユージくん、何も言わずに治療してくれたじゃない？驚いちゃった。
Alright then, I'll be going. So I raise my right hand in farewell. Monty grabs my clothes firmly to prevent my retreat.
ちょっと、怪我をしてナーバスになっている女の子を一人にする気？もう少し一緒にいなさい。
I'm the only one who thinks that she should be slightly more nervous about being alone with a teenage male in this room, which isn't bad, when her leg is injured to the point that she can't walk. What do you want from me? If I have something to say, then if you have something to say, then spit it already.
じゃあ、はっきり言うけど、ねえ、
Hey, yo?
私の彼氏になってよ。
What?
聞こえなかったかな？もう一度言おうか？
Why are you saying
君
this?
のことが好きだから。
Okay, now she's just trolling us.
初めて会った時からずっと一目惚れってやつかな。
I feel like she's trolling.
なんか冷たい反応。私の言ってることを信じてないでしょ。
Let me ask, what part of me did you fall in love with?
そうね。なんかダメ男っぽいところ。私さ、こいつ私がいなかったらどうやって生きていくんだろうみたいな、そういう男に弱いみたい。
I see, can't say I have a problem for reliable women myself.
マジで？それって好都合じゃない？どうする？じゃあ付き合っちゃおうか。
What does this girl think she's grinning about? Momentarily speechless with amusement, I hold my right palm to my forehead and run it through my hair. Look, is teasing me that much fun?
そういう言われ方は心外なんだけど。じゃあさ、彼氏がダメならお姉ちゃんになってあげる。
Why is that your natural progression? Oh, he doesn't want to be my boyfriend? Then I'll just be his big sister.
優しくて綺麗なお姉さん欲しくない？
I regret to inform you that we're not hiring big sisters at the present time.
いつ募集するの？
Anticipate no vacancies until doomsday.
なんだよそれ。
That's my line, idiot. Shifting my grip on the ice pack, I give Amani a slap on the ankle.
もう女の子いじめて楽しい？
Let's see, if you make it a yes-no question, then yes. I think I'd safely be on the enjoys bowling girl side.
サディストか。でも大丈夫。私ってこう見えてもド M だから。
Just what do you want from me exactly?
ねえ、どうしてもダメなの？なんか女としての自信なくすな。
I'm not trying to reject you, but don't you think you're rushing
時
things
期
here?
尚早という言葉を使う人はきっと10年経っても同じことを言うよね。
We're not talking about politics here.
だから彼女は諦めてお姉ちゃんになるって言ってるじゃないね。
Starting off by asking for the sky and dragging out concessions as a compromise in negotiations, you really do think you're a politician.
そろそろ私も傷つくぞ。
Drop my shoulders in an exaggerated gesture and heave a heavy sigh. Pretty sure this girl intends to continue this aggressive pursuit until I tell her what she wants to hear. Be a serious pain in the ass if she tried to push me any harder than this. As a point of compromise, this is probably right at the limit of my tolerance. Yeah, I got it. If you want to play the big sister that badly, I'll go along with it. If there was a mirror in front of me as I speak these words, I'd be staring at the face of a man with the word reluctant stamped on his forehead. Might this have been a hasty decision? Indifferent to my shame and regret, Amani beams happily, dropping her hand on top of my head with a gentle thump, in grand big sister style.
ならばよろしい。これからはお姉ちゃんって呼ぶんだぞ。
Is it too late to take this back? I don't think this means you can pet my head whenever you feel like it. Although, I don't go so far as to push Amani's hand away. I can't say this is an especially pleasant feeling. Dutiful and clever dogs, as a rule, don't wag their tails when someone other than their master pats their head. Well, damn it, we got swindled. I prefer eating my meals alone. It's just easier that way. For one thing, I don't have to go through the hassle of pretending to enjoy what I'm eating. In the first place, there's no cafeteria or lunch counter in this school. The facilities themselves apparently exist, but after all, you can count the number of students and permanent staff here on the fingers of your hands. Spending the money to run a lunchroom for the benefit of a small number of people would be completely inefficient any way you look at it. This whole school is inefficient, okay? There is nothing efficient about housing 6 kids in such a big area. So then you might ask, how does lunch work at this place? It's a pretty simple system. And I dare not even say that they're kids. When we arrive at the classroom in the morning, we can write our names in a notebook on the podium. Every lunch period, a supplier delivers food to everyone who's signed up, box lunch catering as they call it. Of course, it's completely up to every individual student whether we take advantage of the catering. Because the menu is basically left to the supplier. It's possible to sign up only when they're offering something you want. Personally, I haven't asked for delivery even once. Not like I'm worried about saving money or that I can't trust food made by others. I don't have any religious principles against eating meat either. I'm just not interested enough in what I eat to bother. They say it's a common result of being raised in a food-poor environment, considering the time I spent living together with my master and her crappy cooking. I guess it's only natural. Full stomach and adequate nutrition is all I need. Incidentally, the lunch I prepared for myself today is 3 plain salt rice balls. My side dish was also a quick job. After frying onions and garlic, I threw them together to cook with some canned tomatoes and kidney beans, adding a packet of chili powder for seasoning. My master used to say, humans ain't that fragile. You won't starve as long as you got beans to eat. But I guess going with nothing but the basics is a bit too bleak for me. No point in living like a monk, so I've also brought an apple for dessert. Kinda feels like I'm eating nothing but red stuff, but there's no point worrying about a meal's appearance. This is perfectly adequate for my needs.
おーい、ユージ
So now she's dropped the honorific.
ー。何？
Don't just call me Yuji, woman.
だって私お姉ちゃんになったんだし、弟にくんづけって変じゃない？
I don't remember giving you permission to not use one.
禁止された覚えもないけど。
Okay, it's now forbidden.
もうなんて横暴なのかしら。なら私も交換条件出すわよ。
What do you want?
私のことお姉ちゃんって呼んだら呼び捨てにするのやめてあげる。どうする？ゆうちゃん。
Spare me, not even my parents ever called me that.
いいからほれ呼んでみお姉ちゃんって。
Ridiculous.
なんだよその態度。だったら私も呼び捨てやめないぞ。
Do whatever you want.
そうするよゆうじ。
And you need something.
いやなんか地味に一人でご飯食べてるからさ。ね一緒に食べない？
I'll pass. Take your volunteer work to Makina, why don't you?
もちろんマキナも一緒だよ。マキナ
お、呼んだか？
呼んだけどさ、その言葉遣いはどうだろう。
お兄ちゃんもお弁当何食べてるのよさ。
聞いちゃいねえし。
おにぎりとリンゴとこの赤いのは何？
Baked beans.
なんかおいしそうね。それ
Wanna try some?
もうそうやって何でも人が食べてるものを欲しがらないの。まるで普段うちで何も食べさせてないみたいじゃないの。
あまねパンちょうだい。これ絶対パンと合う。
Oh no, she's turning into somebody from Britain.
聞きなさいよ人の話。
Oh no. Beans on toast. I can't believe it.
おじゃないわよ。っていうか、あんたもマキナに何食べさせたのよ。
Like I said, beans. She just had a mouthful. Are they a big deal?
豆って。うわ、何その40代の独身サラリーマンみたいに質素なお弁
These are nutritious. There's no problem.
結構美味しいのよ。
当。どれどれ？
Hey, don't just start eating my food.
確かに美味しいけど、これって缶詰だよね。
I feel like what people in Japan would call bad food would be considered like healthy here in America. Beans and tomatoes, yeah.
私缶詰も大好きなのよさ。
Look, stop eating it already. This is all I've got.
缶詰といえば昔から不思議に思ってることがあるのよさ。みかんの缶詰ってどうやってあんなに綺麗に皮を剥いてるの？
Canned mandarin orange slices. I don't think I've ever seen canned ones. I mean, maybe I have. Yeah, now that I think about it, maybe I have. They melt the skin off with acid and alkali.
マジで？なんか体に悪そう。
Don't worry, the chemicals are neutralized and they wash the fruit with water after. It's perfectly safe.
だったら安心なのよさ。
I don't know. I think there's a lot of things that we probably use to change our food in a way that's bad. Like I heard decaf coffee, the way that they strip the caffeine out of it, and even then they don't get all of it. I guess that way is kind of toxic. So they say that you're getting some of that in your coffee when you do that. The girl's already halfway through my lunch. I guess whatever they use, I think it's similar to like a paint thinner, and it's kind of carcinogen. It can give you cancer. There you go.
ごめん。お詫びにさ、私たちのお弁当を分けてあげるから。ね。
It's fine. Don't worry about it. I'm not desperate enough to start stealing other people's food.
まあまあ、いっぱいあるんだから遠慮しないでいいのよ。ほら、じゃーんと。
With that exclamation, Amane brings out a huge wrapped lunch. Looks like she's actually got a number of boxes stacked on top of each other.
ほーら見てごらんなさい。これが食の彩りというものよ。
Opening the lid, she reveals a box packed with a rich variety of vividly colored side dishes, practically indistinguishable from a delivery lunch from some well-established restaurant. So, no one of the neighborhood calls this place the Money Sink Academy. Pretty luxurious for a school lunch.
これ学校の仕出し弁当じゃないわよ。私の自作。
Seriously?
言ってなかったっけ？私の実家ってね、神田で京料理の料亭やってんだよ。
Kyoto food in a district of Tokyo.
うちとこのお母はんは京都の老舗料亭の娘やし、お父はんは神田の料理人なんよ。
No kidding. So that's where Amani's infrequent lapses into the weird Kansai accent come from. Okay, so I was right. They do have the Kansai accent. Come to think of it, the short-tempered, vaguely masculine side of her personality makes a lot more sense knowing that her father's from a blue-collar neighborhood like Kanda.
あまねってばすっごいお料理上手なのよ。お肉が嫌いだからあんましお肉料理は作ってくれないけど、でもとっても美味しいのよさ。
You don't eat meat, Amane. Now she mentions it, I don't see much in the way of meat dishes inside this box. Bit of a surprise, I had you down as a carnivore for sure.
いやー、別にお肉を食べないわけじゃないし、料理もするけど、ほらね、お肉ばっかり食べてこれ以上大きくなってもあれかなってさ。
Oh, is that how that works? Your breast's getting too heavy.
身長よ。
Oh, well, I guess you can't exactly shed inches the way you can pounds. Cutting back on meat now isn't going to make her any shorter. But Amane keeps a careful eye on things that might help maintain the status quo. Bit of a reactionary approach considering she's already pretty damn tall, but I guess that's your typical passive Japanese mindset at work. As JB once told me, there aren't many Japanese who go to the dentist before their teeth start to hurt.
やっぱり男の子はお肉がいいよね。今度また作ってくるから、今日はこれで我慢してよ。
Need that protein for our muscles, baby. I think he's trying to meet myself, and more importantly, I'll take care of my own food expenses. You don't have to worry about my taste.
毎日マキナの分も用意してるし、今さら一人分ぐらい増えてもどうってことないから遠慮しないでいいんだよ。
Why are you so determined to stick your nose in my eating habits?
だって弟だし。
Ugh.
だってお兄ちゃんだし。
I don't get it. Others who just want to play house. Maybe somebody, say the principal, ordered them to become friends of Kazumi-kun for some reason. Oh my gosh, we're going back to conspiracy theories. Either way, I'd prefer to maintain some distance. I can't be so casual about this as a normal student might be. I have too many things I'd like to keep to myself.
だいたいさ、その若さでお昼がおにぎりと豆だけってひもじくないの？
Lonnie, before I get to your question, I do wonder when they're gonna like start diving into something bigger. Like they keep kind of poking at it slowly but surely in between a lot of the moments that are just kind of silly and nonsensical at times. Like they keep pointing at like, oh, there is a bigger story, you know, to Yuji and to the principal and to JB and maybe even to even some of the girls. Like they keep hinting at like there's this bigger you know, plot kind of behind the scenes, but like they haven't like quite dived into it yet. So I'm wondering when that's gonna happen. I feel like they're kind of getting us attached to the characters maybe at first, and then we're gonna have something bigger happen, is what I'm thinking. But I don't know. Like I said, I don't know how serious of a story this actually is. It could be something serious, which I think it is, just based on Yuji's background. I would like to imagine there's some kind of bigger story to that, but who knows? It's a little sad to be eating rice and beans for lunch at your age. I feel like there's a lot of countries that just eat rice and beans, you know? Used to simple food.
そう、それそれ。そのいじめられるのには慣れているみたいなのもなんか悲しいじゃん。今までどんな食事をしてきたのよ。
I don't know, nothing special. When I was a young kid, I may not have gotten much in the way of luxury, but I ate normal meals. My current emphasis on low effort and nutritious food is the product of the way they did things in my previous school. Part of my French, but at the place the principal was eat fast, shit fast. In the morning, we were kicked out of bed at 6 a.m. sharp for roll call, exercise, and running. Then it was double time to the mess hall. In a few minutes, eat breakfast, take your time, and you get a dressing down from one of your seniors. So everyone stuffed food, whatever food they could grab into their mouth, and forced it down their throats as fast as possible. Lunch was slightly different in that sheer amount of food they gave us became a challenge. The piles of meat and vegetables would have been hard enough to handle alone, but they'd throw in a heaping bowl of rice as well. I'm totally cool with the idea of like kind of eating light for breakfast. I think it kind of goes a long way, and I feel like your digestive system kind of just speeds up a little bit as you get towards lunch. That's when you actually need more food and energy. So I'm okay with like keeping breakfast kind of smaller. Sometimes I just don't even eat breakfast. I just kind of do a brunch or something. I like to cram all that down our stomachs about 10 minutes washing it down with miso soup. Naturally, we weren't allowed to leave a scrap of food in our plates, vomit it up, and they tell you to push it all back down again. Ew. In other words, the taste was not exactly the first thing in our mind. Never enjoyed eating that much in the first place, so once my meals became outright painful, approaching food in a purely business-like fashion felt like the natural response. Nothing but rice and beans for lunch might seem sad to Amane, but I'm not fighting my friends for a can of food. By my standards, this is a high-class, elegant meal.
だいたいさ、その食べなきゃいけないから食べるみたいな顔、なんとかならないの？
This is probably why I gained weight, but I've definitely enjoyed food more as I've gotten older. I've settled less for, I don't know, cheaper food, I guess. I'm not saying I eat extravagantly, because I don't. But, you know, I like to eat food that I actually enjoy. My face is putting you off your food. I suggest you don't look at it.
もう可愛くないな。綺麗なお姉さんがお弁当を作ってあげるって言ってるんだから、素直にありがとうって言っておきなさいよ。何よ。
That would require him to be dependent on somebody, and I don't think he likes that. You're right about this one, sorry.
え？何？急に素直になったな。気持ち悪い。
Okay, aren't to play along once in a while. To tell the truth, I had a similar discussion in the past with another pushy woman. Ended up turning into an outright fight. Turned busybody German had this habit of coming to the mountain cabin where I lived with my master. Mainly subject us both to shrill, nagging sessions. You barge in, clean up without even asking permission, make food nobody asked for, and then leave just as quickly. I think that woman must have gotten some sick pleasure out of it. One day in particular, I got pretty indignant when she put away some book in the middle of reading. I ended up firing off the line, "You're not my damn mom," with predictably unpleasant results. It wasn't exactly the first time we thought. It's true that I found her incessant meddling annoying, so I honestly told her as much. Serious mistake. When in question, already a full-grown adult spat out the supremely childish words, "Fine, see if I care." And of all things, she broke down in tears, leaving me in a complete bewildered panic. Since that disastrous experience, I've learned a lot about how to handle women. First lesson, knowing when to back down is crucial. Don't resist a woman's kindness. When a woman gets worked up, words don't get through to her. The most troublesome lesson of all, women of the busybody type. Remember the smallest grudges through all eternity. I feel like for the most part I could agree with that. Of all the things you just said. Happy you're willing to make lunch for me, but don't feel like you have to do it every day. Appreciate it when you have the time.
ごめん。さ、別に私親切の押し売りをするつもりとかじゃなくて、なんていうか。
I don't want to hear that after how pushy you were about being our big sister since we didn't want to date you, which was just a ploy to get us to agree to the second request you make. You know your intentions were good, Amane. I don't have a reason to refuse that would satisfy her. Not one I can bring up here, at least. Anyways, I'm not looking to make the atmosphere in the classroom awkward over something like this. As for Amane, I don't know how she interpreted my sudden change of tune. It sounds like she sounds downright contrite about her aggressiveness. We're both being mature about things all of a sudden. Guess the two of us are still pretty capable of being reasonable with each other. Probably a good sign.
とにかくお弁当にしようよ。私お腹が空いたのよさ。
Hungry, hombre. Oh, we're using Spanish.
あんたユージのおかず全部食べちゃったじゃないの。
I mean, he'll be alright. You said you were going to share some of your other food with him.
いつの間に誰だ
Who could have done such a thing?
いや、お前だろ。
Well, a healthy appetite is a good thing.
そんなこと言ってると、おにぎりもリンゴも全部食べられちゃうわよ。
リンゴはイチゴの次に好きなのよさ。ほほこいつはとっても美味しそうなのよさ。
あんた今朝リンゴ食べてきたでしょうが、意地汚いことしないの。
I don't really mind giving her the apple, but I thought you said Maki didn't have that big of an appetite.
まあ、なんというか食事のバランスが悪いのよね、この子。食べない時には全然食べないし、食べる時には人の3倍くらい食べちゃうのよ。
Gosh, that's my daughter. It's like some days it's really hard to get her to eat like anything, and then the other days she eats everything you put in front of her. A bit of an exaggeration. Drop my hand on Maki in his head with a thump. Where would the kid be storing all that in this tiny body?
私もそう思うけど、実際食べるんだもの。ご飯食べた直後だってのに、お腹空いたって言い出したりしてさ。
まあそんな日もあるさ。
Yeah, I think that's kind of true.
ねえよ。
I don't know. I definitely feel like some days I'm really hungry. It just kind of depends on what you've been doing. Like if you've been doing a lot of physical exercise, you know? Maybe she works like a mole or a rhino. Inefficient at absorbing energy from her food, so she has to keep stuffing herself or she'll starve to death. I think the best example would be a panda. That's why they eat so much bamboo, because it's not very nutritious. So they have to eat so much. They have to be eating like the whole day to get what they need.
話してると時間なくなっちゃうよ。とにかくお弁当にしよう。マキナ、手伝って。
Can I just say that pandas don't deserve to exist? I think they're cool, they're cute, whatever, but I have no idea how they're still alive. I really don't. Like, it's no surprise to me that, like, besides zoos, they're kind of straight up going extinct. It's really hard to get them to, like, mate, too. Like, you have to pretty much, like, spoon feed them everything they need in life, or they just won't live. For a second, I thought I saw a shadow fall across Amani's face, but she and Makina quickly get to work. They drag nearby desks and chairs up to mine, creating one large island.
大したもんじゃないけどさ。遠慮しないで食べて。
He pushes one of the stacked lunch boxes at me. Inside there's deep-fried tofu covered with red bean paste, accented with thinly sliced boiled daikon radish. Not to mention broccoli with sesame sauce, fried burdock root, Kyoto-style grilled mackerel, and chicken meatloaf. What? That's a thing? Together, they make an amazingly well-balanced and elaborate meal. Holding back at this point would be downright rude. I thank her for the food and extend my chopsticks to the sliced daikon radish. I mean, there were still 2 dishes that had meat in there. I mean, fish and then the chicken meatloaf. I mean, I think that's actually how you're supposed to eat. You're not really supposed to eat a ton of meat. But most people do anyways. Lonnie's cooking is somewhat light in the seasoning. I noticed as much before when I had dinner in her room, but it's my tongue used to preservatives and artificial coloring. Ugh. Her food seems extremely gentle. That's one thing I do try to avoid is like shitty ingredients in food. Like I try as best as I can, which is difficult here in America because you know what? All the food we consider normal, if you really think about it, it's just terrible for you. It's really processed. It has a bunch of shit in there that shouldn't be in there. You know, the people in charge of what's allowed in our food here in America don't care. They really, really don't. Delicious.
Nante?
Money, you really are an excellent cook.
だから何度も言ってるのよさ。アマネーは上手だよって。
まあ料理屋の娘だしね。っていうかさ、この前だって私の手料理食べたじゃん。
Yeah, true. Dinner in her room was a simple stew, and the main ingredients were just some off-the-shelf fish products, so there wasn't really any real surprises. This meal has the vaguely nostalgic essence of home cooking. The taste calls up faded memories of the meals my mother served me. Honestly, it's a bit of an emotional jolt.
うちの母親がね、アホでもおへちゃでもかましまへんけど、料理だけは覚えとかな飽きまへんえってさ。子供の頃から料理はよく教わってたのよね。
Your mom sounds like a nice woman. I think everybody should know how to cook basic meals. You should always know how to make, and I think there's a difference between knowing how to cook just basic meals and knowing how to cook basic meals that you like. Like it's easy to put together food, but you want food that you actually enjoy and food that you're actually going to eat. Preferably something you can make enough of a portion that you'll have leftovers. I'm somebody who likes to eat leftovers. I will eat leftovers all the time. My wife, though, on the other hand, was not raised eating leftovers, so she's really picky about what foods she'll actually eat, like the next day. See, I don't mess with that. Like, I only make food that I like, and I will always eat it the next day, unless it's like something that just you can't really reheat. Like, you can't really do, I don't know, like salad the next day. I guess I wouldn't personally do salad the next day. I would only want that fresh.
ね、お兄ちゃん。私が食べさせてあげる。卵がいい？
Now that I think about it, all I've ate today was leftovers, actually. I did burgers last night, and you know what I did? I put burgers with rice and some sriracha, and that's what I had for lunch. Maybe a little bit weird. My wife thinks putting sriracha on a burger is kind of weird, but it does say in the bottle you can do that, okay? You can put sriracha on anything. I'll feed myself, thanks. Even eating like with others like this is a concession on my part. This is going to be past ticklish and into seriously awkward territory. Lucky to thrust the omelet towards my nose with a clumsy grip on her chopsticks, I instinctively pull back and turn a frank scowl in Mane's direction. Hey Mane, do something about this girl, so my glance was intended to convey, but instead, Mane bites her lower lip lightly and had an irrepressible smile spread across her face. Grabbing a Kinpura burdock root with her chopstick, she presses it towards my face, which I turned away from mocking his attack.
Hi?
Brutus. At 2?
こんなに可愛い女の子が両手に花状態でだよ。王様待遇じゃん。
I think a lot of guys would like that.
そうなのよ。そろそろ空気読め。
That's my line. Caught between a rock and a hard place theoretically, I should gain distance, then suppress each target individually. Step 1. I need a chance to take evasive action. I have to create some sort of distraction. Everyone in this room is now a potential weapon of last resort. My frantic gaze settles on Sakaki, sitting alone in silence, picking food from a catered lunch of her chopsticks. Sakaki, I'm begging you. Sakaki glances towards us out of the corner of her eye. I send her a desperate SOS with my gaze. Her own silent message follows. Please don't think you're going to drag me into this. A truly cold and heartless answer. A brief, please try to eat a little more silently from your mouth could save my life, and you abandoned me. Is this the way Nihama Academy's management treats its students? I've just witnessed with my own eyes the tragic moment. Long years trusting in a superpower's umbrella, forbidden from developing a military, still shedding blood and sweat in defense of our nation, all come to naught. Sakaki, my friend and ally. In the end, was I nothing to you but a shield against the menace of Amane and Makina, the sacrifice to suffer in your place when the time came? No reason to despair, Kazumi Yuji. From the start, you were a mere pawn in the great game. A dog kept alive on the whims of your masters. You threw away the right to expect mercy from God a long time ago. Didn't you know as much? Too late now to think of the national interest. All that's left to me is to embrace the moment of reckoning. Endure the endurable, suffer the insufferable, find the cool serenity of still water.
こういうの鬱陶しいかな。
What?
こういうさ、私の押し付けがましい仲良しごっこに付き合うのって正直しんどいと思うし、そっとしておいてほしいとか鬱陶しいって思うかもしれない。でもさ、私はこういうやり方しかできないし、他の方法が思いつかないのよ。ユージの過去に何があったかなんて知らないし、知ったところで何もしてあげられない。ましてや同情するつもりもない。されるだけ惨めだって知ってるしね。これはさ、私が私を慰めるためにやってるエゴだから。悪いけど我慢しなさい。というか諦めて。わかったら、はい、口を開けて。
I remember earlier Yuji said that he would speak up if somebody was doing something annoying, but I've noticed most of the time he'll make remarks about it, but he won't really try to stop it from happening. I think he is really considerate of the girls. I think he does know that they like to be silly and like to do these kinds of things on purpose, and he just kind of plays along with it to make them happy. Not necessarily that he like hates it, but he's pretty tolerant of it. I think in a way, this is probably the most friendly group he's been around. Just considering his background, I feel like he was pushed, you know, to be a certain kind of person, and now he can just kind of relax. I think that in a way that's kind of nice. This Suo Amane woman is too clever at times. When she puts it like that, no matter how badly I want to escape the situation, there's no way I can bring myself to run away. That ruthless way she cuts off my path of retreat is nostalgic in a way. Reminds me of my big sister. Then again, compared to Kazuki, I guess Amane's methods are almost charming. As that thought passes through my head, the tension naturally drains from my body, and I let my mouth fall open. The Kinpura she throws in my mouth has that simple, light seasoning. Same taste of home.
おいしい?
Yeah. Food is good, to be sure, but what's with this stifling feeling? Soft taste of home cooking, a meal spent with others. I understand this feeling of harmony to be a kind of happiness. In counter-reaction to the peaceful atmosphere, a dark thought spreads through my mind. I shouldn't be sitting here. My chest feels tight, drawing breath is uncomfortable. I'm off balance. I know exactly why. I spent 1.5 years since my master's death keeping my distance from others. In that time I've grown starved for this sort of contact, and I don't want to admit that to myself because that means facing the question, do I deserve an ordinary life? Do I have the right to an everyday routine existence living for small moments of happiness?
いいんだよ。
I feel like this is really important to his character development, so I'm really paying attention to it. So when he says, do I deserve an ordinary life, two thoughts come to mind. Is he saying, do I deserve an ordinary life because I've done a lot of horrible things? He talks a lot about like combat experience. Has he gone out and killed people? I would like to say yes. I think based on the interaction from last episode when he was confronted with those guys, I think he was willing to do what he needed to do. I think if you don't have hesitation on killing someone, then you've likely killed before. So that's what I would assume. Or do I deserve an ordinary life? Is he questioning that because he's been raised in such a way that he feels like he has to be doing something more important? He feels like he needs to serve and he needs to have a better purpose. And with an ordinary life, you just kind of live for your own, I don't want to say enjoyment, but you're not necessarily living to fulfill somebody else's goal. You're kind of doing your own things, finding your own purpose and your own reason to, you know, live for those small moments of happiness, as he says in the next line. So I wonder which one it is.
だから私の分も食べていいんだよ。
Oh yeah.
そうなのよ。男の子なんだからいっぱい食べてまるまる太らないとダメなのよさ。はい。
She's talking to us like she does the crawfish. Look, I told you I can feed myself. Not used to this sort of thing sooner or later. I want to believe that, but there's a part of me that can't. Even now, there's a nagging discomfort in the corner of my mind. There's always a side of me that accepts and a side of me that denies. In a fight, that side that denies always comes out on top. Guess that's the first thing I should try to fix about myself. I'm trying to remember, kind of based on the first episode, kind of some of his discussion. What is his purpose of being in this school? I guess that would really tell me a lot about it. It does seem like he has an objective, just based on the fact that he's still in contact with JB and still has like his work phone and stuff. It seems like he's been stationed here, but I don't know if he knows the reason either. So I'm wondering what is his reason for being here? Is it to work with the girls and maybe they have some bigger purpose? I don't know. Is there a reason I can't stay broken? An obvious question, but I think I'll leave it for another time. Just like any other school, the start of a recess period here means that someone runs off to buy drinks for the group. Well, guys, I think I'm going to end it here. Pretty decent sized episode. And then I liked ending it off on kind of like that more thought-provoking side. There was a lot of silly moments here, and so I like when they throw in that more serious side, because those are the moments that really get you thinking and for me are the most enjoyable. I mean, I like the moments where we're laughing and just having a good time, but I like when it contrasts that a bit with a more serious side. So I think we'll end it off here. I guess that's my burning question, is what is our purpose here at the school? I think we've kind of gotten introduced to all the students. We've had time to kind of spend with them individually. They do a good job at like balancing the moments that we get to spend with each of the characters and kind of get to know different sides of them. Like the whole thing with Machina having a photographic memory, that was just kind of thrown in there. I didn't really know that about her before. So that was nice. And getting to see, you know, different moments with the characters kind of helps me gain more respect for them and more attached to them, which makes me think that they're going to do something to them later on, you know? That's going to make me feel for them, which I don't like the thought of. But I could guess what's going to happen all day long, but we'll just have to continue on next time. So I'll see you guys then.